Name's John. I drive a garbage truck. Not the kind of job people dream about when they're kids. I get it. It's dirty. It stinks. Most folks don't even look at you when you're working, just roll their bins to the curb and disappear back inside. But I show up every morning at 5, in the rain, in the snow, in the dead heat of summer. My hands are calloused, back's a bit shot, but I earn an honest wage. Got health insurance, retirement savings, steady paycheck. Can't complain. Not like anyone would listen anyway. I grew up in a working-class neighborhood. My old man, rest his soul, worked construction his whole life. Fell off a scaffold when I was 17 and didn't make it through the week. After that, it was just me, my mom, and my little sister Kendra. She was 16 then, still in high school, full of dreams about moving to the city, becoming someone important. And my mom, she kind of fell apart after dad died. Didn't want to work anymore. Said the world owed her a break after what happened. So I stepped up, dropped out, got my commercial license, and started hauling trash. It wasn't what I wanted to do at 17, but I figured someone had to keep the lights on. First few years, I was running on pure instinct. Wake up, drive, eat, sleep, repeat. Gave mom most of my paychecks, helped Kendra with college prep, drove her to campus tours, even though she barely acknowledged me half the time. She'd sit in the passenger seat with her headphones on, scrolling her phone like I wasn't even there. I told myself it was just teenage stuff. Over time, things didn't really change. Kendra got into a state college. I helped cover the tuition she couldn't get loans for. Mom stayed home, always tired, always needing something. John, can you get the groceries? John, the boiler's acting up again. John, your sister needs a laptop. And I did it. Never argued. Never asked for anything back. You ever feel like the more you give, the less people see you? Like, the more dependable you are, the more invisible you get? I used to think I was doing the right thing, stepping up, being the man of the house. But eventually, I realized they weren't just leaning on me. They were walking over me. Mom started making comments. Small ones at first. I wish you dress nicer. Your clothes always smell like the truck. Or, maybe you could work somewhere with a real office, like your cousin. Then Kendra chimed in. One day I picked her up from a friend's place, and her buddy goes, "So your brother's the one that does the trash stuff?" And she laughed. Not embarrassed. Not polite. Just laughed like it was some big joke. "Yeah," she said, "he's basically king of the dumpsters." I didn't say anything. Just drove them home, dropped them off, went back to work the next day like always. But it stuck. That laugh. That tone. Fast forward a couple years. Kendra's done with college now, still living at home. She doesn't want to move out until she's got enough saved. Mom's still not working, just watching talk shows and online shopping on my dime. I'm still paying for everything. Electric, water, groceries, car maintenance. They don't even pretend to help anymore. Kendra had a job for a few months at a law firm doing admin work, then quit because her boss was too demanding. She's got a part-time gig now managing social media for some local spa. Works 10 hours a week. Eats like it's her full-time job, though. You might be wondering why I put up with it. Why I didn't move out and let them fend for themselves. I don't know, man. Guilt? Habit? Maybe I felt like if I left, everything would fall apart and somehow that would be on me. Dumb, I know. But when it's your family, it's not always that easy. I remember one night, I got home after a double shift. I was dead on my feet. Took my boots off at the door, sat down to eat the leftover mac and cheese I made 2 days ago. And I hear them laughing in the other room. Mom, Kendra, and one of her friends. They're watching some show where a guy gets dumped because he's a janitor or something. And Kendra goes, "That's why I'll never date a man who smells like garbage." They all laugh. Loud. I just sat there, staring at the table. Couldn't even finish my food. Still, I kept going. Kept paying. Kept driving. Kept quiet. Then came the party. Kendra's birthday. She was turning 27. Wanted a big celebration at the house. Ordered catering, decorations, new furniture. All on my card, by the way. I didn't even blink. Just handed it over like usual. She said it was important. Said it was for family. I figured, all right, let them have their fun. That day, I got off work early, grabbed a bottle of wine, and headed home, thinking I'd surprise them. I hadn't been part of one of her parties in years, but I thought maybe this time she'd appreciate the gesture. Maybe we'd share a drink. Maybe she'd introduce me to her friends with a little respect. I get to the front door, and music's blasting. Laughter, people talking, someone shouting about shots in the kitchen. I knock. Nothing. I open the door. It's unlocked. Step inside. The living room's full of people. Strangers. Fancy clothes. Perfume thick in the air. I spot Kendra near the bar setup, laughing with some guy in a tight sweater. I say her name. She turns around. Face drops like she saw a rat. Walks up to me fast, pulls me toward the door. "What are you doing here?" she whispers, half pissed, half panicked. I'm like, "It's your birthday. I came to say happy birthday." She looks me up and down. I'm still in my work shirt. Bit of dirt on my jeans. Nothing crazy. She says, "You can't be here like this. You're not in shape for this crowd." I laugh, thinking she's joking. But she's dead serious. "You smell like the truck," she adds. "Just go shower or something and come back later." I looked around. People were glancing at us. Someone smirked. One guy actually pinched his nose like a damn cartoon. I nodded, walked out, drove around for a couple hours. Didn't go back. You ever have that switch flip in your head? That moment where everything you've been tolerating just doesn't sit right anymore? Like something breaks and you finally see it for what it is? I went home that night to the garage, where I sleep when they have guests, and sat on the edge of the cot, thinking. Next morning, I called out of work for the first time in years. Took a shower, put on my cleanest clothes, and drove downtown. Made an appointment with a lawyer. Brought every piece of paper I had. Mortgage, receipts, tax records. House was in my name. Fully paid off. Everything tied to my account. Couple days later, I filed the papers. Transferred ownership clean. Official. They didn't even notice. Until I told them to leave. I waited until Saturday morning. Figured they'd both be home. No errands, no distractions. I made coffee like I usually do, sat at the kitchen table, and waited. Kendra came down first, barefoot, wrapped in a silk robe I'm pretty sure I paid for. Scrolled her phone, didn't even say good morning. Mom followed, yawning, asking if we had eggs. I didn't answer. Just let them sit and settle in. Then I said it, real calm. "I need you both to move out. You've got 1 week." Kendra laughed like it was a joke. "What?" Mom blinked. "What are you talking about, John?" I repeated it. Same tone. "This is my house. You don't pay to live here. You don't contribute. And I'm done." 7 days. They both started talking over each other, asking if I hit my head, if I was having some kind of midlife meltdown. Kendra tried to make it sound like I was being dramatic, that she just had friends over, and maybe she got a little carried away. Mom said I was overreacting and asked if I'd been drinking. I didn't yell, didn't even raise my voice. "I've been paying for everything in this house for over a decade. You treat me like dirt, then turn around and expect my paycheck to cover your lifestyle. That stops now." Kendra stood up, face red. "You wouldn't even have this house without Dad." "That's true," I said. "And he'd be disgusted with how you treat me." That one shut her up for a second. They argued, of course. Told me they had nowhere to go. That it was sudden. That family doesn't kick family out. I just shrugged. "You had 15 years to figure something out." Mom tried guilt. "I raised you. This is how you repay me." I looked her straight in the eye. "You stopped raising me the day Dad died. Since then, I've been raising both of you." It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't emotional. I just got up, washed my mug, and left the house for a few hours. They stayed the full 7 days. Used every minute. On the last morning, I came back from my route, and the living room was empty. Boxes stacked by the door. Kendra's boyfriend's truck idling in the driveway. Neither of them said goodbye. And you know what? I didn't need one. The first night alone in the house was strange. Quiet. But not bad. Just different. I sat in the living room. No noise, no background chatter, no judgments. I made myself a proper meal. Eggs, toast, sausage, and ate without anyone scoffing or asking for takeout. Next day, I cleaned. I mean really cleaned. Cleared out their stuff. Old clothes, dusty makeup kits, expired boxes of tea. I bagged it all and set it out for pickup. Felt fitting. A few neighbors gave me looks. One asked if everything was okay. I just said, yeah, house needed some air. Mom tried calling a couple times. Left voicemails about how hard it is for her, how I should think about what I've done. Kendra texted once. "Enjoy your kingdom, trash man." I blocked her number. Not out of spite. Just peace. You ever notice how quiet feels different when it's your own quiet? When no one's waiting to roll their eyes at you. No passive-aggressive comments. No muttered jokes. No fake thank yous. For the first time in years, I started sleeping through the night. No banging pipes. No late-night TV. No fights in the next room about money I earned. I'm not saying everything got perfect. I still wake up at 5, still drive the same truck, still smell like garbage when I come home. But now, when I walk through my front door, it's mine. The floor's clean. The dishes are mine. The remote stays where I left it. I even started fixing up the garage, turned it into a proper workshop, hung up some tools, bought a radio, built myself a bench, a stool, a rack for coats. Nothing fancy, but it feels good. Feels earned. Sometimes I sit out back after dinner, crack a beer, and just listen. There's a tree back there, an old oak, and you can hear the leaves moving if the wind's just right. That sound used to get drowned out by yelling or phone calls or some dumb show about celebrities. Now it's just wind and birds. Real sounds. You ever think about how long it takes to draw a line? Not the act of drawing it, but the decision. The moment you finally say, that's it. For me, it took years. Years of letting things slide. Of thinking they'd come around. That maybe one day they'd appreciate the effort. They never did. And honestly, that's on me. I let it go on. I chose to stay quiet, to keep paying, to be the mule. But once that line's drawn, it stays. Last I heard, Kendra was couch hopping with friends, complaining online about family betrayal. Mom's living with one of her cousins a few towns over. She sent a birthday card, blank inside except for, "I still love you." I didn't reply, not out of cruelty. Just, I'm done being the one who always reaches out. People like to say blood is thicker than water. Maybe. But water doesn't clog your sink and demand rent money while calling you a joke behind your back. I got a dog recently. Rescue mutt. Mixed breed. Scrappy little guy. Named him Diesel. He follows me around, rides in the truck sometimes if the route's light. Doesn't talk, doesn't judge, just happy to be there. He's family now. You don't need much in this life. Just a roof that's really yours, a quiet meal, a job that pays honest, and people, or dogs, that don't think they're better than you because your hands get dirty. If you're someone who's always carrying the load, always the one who fixes everything, just know, you don't have to let people spit on you while you do it. You can draw that line. And when you do, life gets real quiet, and real good.